I really want to be like very clear because I think that there's another factor in this entire thing that nobody wants to take a look at here. And this is with Jack and like his response. Because I remember watching it, and this was years ago. I remember watching it and him being very upset. And this is something I really think people never keep in mind. Jack was put in a situation where he was pressured by adults to have a performative relationship with another teenaged girl that he did not want to have, so that those adults could take advantage of him and make money. He was constantly subjected to drinking with a bunch of other teenagers without the supervision of any parents. Well, while I'm assuming a bunch of adults allowed this to happen without properly supervising their kids. He ended up having a weird relationship with Sienna May. He would get drunk and she would inappropriately interact with him. So you put him in a situation where he's upset with what's happening, and now you take that and you give it an audience. And I think that that's why he was so upset, to a point where he probably wouldn't have been if he didn't have people telling him how to feel. Because the reality is, if you guys have ever had professional training to be some kind of a therapist, one of the things that they teach you to do, and it's one of the most important things that they teach you to do, is that they teach you to meet your client where they're at. Okay? If your client comes in and they tell you, I'm feeling this way, you don't go, oh my God, that's terrible. That's over sensationalizing it. If they come in and they say something, you're like, that's not that bad. That's under sensationalizing it. You meet them where they're at, because when somebody's in an emotionally vulnerable place, especially a young person, you are so much more open to outside pressures making you feel a certain type of way. You can implant and instill trauma into people because of how emotionally vulnerable that they are. That's 100% a thing. That's why people get like secondhand trauma. This is like another thing when they watch horrific traumatic TikToks. These feelings are so complicated. So you take Jack, somebody who was put in a situation to made him feel very uncomfortable, and then you have millions and millions of people telling him that he's like a victim, and that like everything is so much worse than it is, and it's already not great, but it's so much worse than it is, and that invades him and his mentality, and he goes, wow, this is horrible, and he starts to like actually get more upset than what would have originally have happened if a bunch of people didn't weigh in on a situation that was ultimately crafted artificially by adults trying to take advantage of teenagers for money and views and attention.